morning to everybody, good afternoon, wherever you are watching in the world, around the world. I'm happy to entertain you within the next 50 to 60 minutes. My name is Mario Sommer and I will be your host within the next 50, 60 minutes. And our topic today is like how to lay tiles on balconies and terraces, especially outside, with all the conditions which we have, rain, snow, ice, hot situations. And we will show you how to do it right, so you will have a lot of fun with your terraces outside within the next 20, 30 years. So, but I'm not doing this alone. I have some help on my side, Sarah from Villeroy Boch. She will join us today. She's responsible for product management. You're the leader, right?
Yes.
And you will, well, say something, please.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for having me today. I brought some tiles and I'm very excited and looking forward what we can do with these tiles today.
Okay. We are not doing this alone. We are just the ones who are talking. The guys who are working are the men in black. You already know them from probably other shows already. It's Guido and Andreas who will do now the job. We will show you within the next 50 minutes. What we have prepared is like different situations, how to do tiling in outside situations. So lay back. You have also the chance, since this is a live show, to ask questions, and we will try to answer these questions. So these questions or these answers will help you within your next future projects. And so I hope we can give you all the details you need for your next construction site, which we will do now. Okay, I guess we can start already. Sarah, you, I hope you have seen it already. Usually we are more or less like a men's club. But today we have like Sarah, a lady on the side, and right away our stage looks a lot different, nicely prepared. We have plans and everything, and she brought a little bit color in our theater here. And Sarah, maybe you will already tell us something a little about the tiles.
Yes, of course. As you can see, we have many different options for outdoor tiles. We have, first of all, different sizes from the 60 by 60 up to 80 by 80 or even 60 by 120. And we also have different designs, from a natural stone interpretation to a very modern and clean concrete look, up to a very natural looking wood design that even has got a relief. And all our tiles have got a R10B slip resistancy, so that you can easily lay it in commercial or in private areas, also outside areas where there's no problem with slip resistancy and with wet areas, even around the poolside area, for example.
Okay, let us take a look here, over here, because our two men in black have already started, and we start with one of the most common situations. We have like a concrete surface outside which has already been prepared in the rear construction of the building, and this concrete surface is actually the best base for laying tiles. The only thing we have to do is, of course, we have to bring in a slope which has to be like 1 or 2%, because it's outside, of course it's raining, and we want that the water, when it's falling on the tile, is not standing on the tile, because this could be also some kind of danger, especially during winter time when we have like icy situations. So we want that the water is always going away. And so the next thing is that we also do not want that water is getting into the construction. And that means we prepare the slope with a water membrane. That means we have like two different options. We can use like what you see here on this side. We can use like a cement-based slurry, which is mainly common all around the world, I would say. It's a flexible material. When it's hard, you can move it and it stays like rubber, so that when there's tension in the construction because of heat and temperature changes, so there won't be any cracks. And as you can see, usually the terrace is connected to a wall, and we also have to protect the wall against water, or especially when there is like a door or a window, like the walkway into the living room, for example. So we have to also connect the membrane to the door so that there will no water, in case it's raining, won't flood into the construction or into the walls. So we use the waterproofing membrane also to prepare the walls. And in case, sometimes we also put, I know that Villeroy Boch is doing this very often lately, putting tiles on facades. So we also prepare the wall already with this waterproofing membrane to put on top then later on the tiles.
Okay.
Yeah, what you can see here now, there's a difference between this side and this side. And why do we have different preparations of water membranes? On this side you see the normal membrane based on cement. And when we get bigger tiles, as you have shown us already, like that's for example the 60 times 120 centimeter tile, you have like an architect who wishes this on the floor outside, then we have to use the Sopro AEB Plus system. Guido, can you pull up this again so we can see the back side? And I hope we can still see it, because now there's also adhesive underneath. What you can see here, this membrane has two sides, the red side and the gray side, and the gray side is a very flexible layer. So when we have like tension in the tile, so the tile will or won't crack, or the whole construction won't crack. It's like a swimming situation for large tiles when there's like a lot of temperature coming into the tiles. When we talk about tiles, Sarah, what is the biggest tile you have at the moment?
At the moment, 60 by 120.
So that's what we see here.
Yes, and the biggest square one is 80 by 80.
80 by 80. I mean, what I see there, it looks actually like natural stone. So that means
yes.
everything is possible?
Everything is possible, but also you don't have that much hassle with the tile as with a natural stone. So there's no impregnation needed. It's very easy to clean. You can even spill your lemonade. So it's
Schnapps
acid.
And red wine.
Yeah, red wine, for example, or the oil from your barbecue.
Yeah.
So ceramics is a very good base for your terrace, for example.
Okay, good. Good, very, very good. I mean, very nice also. I mean, what I've said already, we have like two different options of making a membrane, or waterproofing membrane. And when we want the large tile, which we have prepared right now here, of course, we have to use special products outside. First, for the slope, we use like RAM 3. I hope the camera can get this. And when we have to go in thicker layers, we also can use like a fast-setting Screed. It's Rapidur M5, which you can use, and you connect it to the concrete. You clean the concrete first, and then you bring in a cement-based adhesive, tile-laying adhesive on top. Then you put fresh the Rapidur M5 on top, and then you model your slope between 1% and 2%. And then you also can do this when it's thin layers with RAM 3. And of course, since we are working outside we have a lot harder conditions than inside. That means we need a better adhesive for the tile laying process. And what we see here, what is Andreas preparing, I hope you can see that right now. When we work outside, we do not want that water is getting between the tile and the membrane, the waterproofing membrane. That means we use the buttering and floating system. That means we back butter the tile, as you can see here, what is Andreas is doing. And we also put adhesive on the membrane on the floor. So, and now we connect these two layers of adhesive together so that we have almost no air in between these two layers, and that means the system will be frost-free and will be able to handle frost very good. So, you guys are done. That looks very nice. Also, a recommendation is that you see that we go like parallel when you go with these 2 layers of adhesive. Tests have shown that when we go parallel, we have like almost 90–95% of laying contact between the tile and the surface where we have put the adhesive. Okay, now the moment is coming. What I have seen already, first questions coming in. What I've seen, Sarah, your tile is pretty thick.
Yes.
I would say the last 5–6 years, the market has completely changed when it comes to tiles for outside.
Yes, the formats are getting bigger and bigger and also thicker. This is a 2 centimeter tile, but we also have 3 centimeter tiles in our assortment.
Yeah, I have seen those over there. We can take a look later on when they have put in the tile right now. But as we can see, it's a job which cannot done alone, so it would be good always to have like a second guy on the side to bring in the tile, to help lift up the tile and bring it in, and then I guess it's also no big deal to handle these tiles. But what we can see now, we have like a very good connection between the waterproof membrane, the adhesive and the tile, and this is of course the secret that the system will work for many years outside. And especially everybody is looking outside on the terrace sometimes for cracks, and so there won't be any cracks coming up soon. Yeah? And the construction, even if there is a crack showing up later on maybe in the crowd, it doesn't harm the construction because the adhesive, it's Megaflex S2 Turbo, is like also in its consistency like a waterproofing membrane, and when it has contact with water, the water will not penetrate into the construction or into the adhesive itself. So the adhesive also stays like a waterproofing system. Okay, this is our first construction. The grout, which we use here or can we use here is like a cement-based grout. It's also a flexible grout. You know this grout already from the balcony, from inside constructions, which we can also use here in the outside. And it's a normal job to bring in this cement-based grout when the completely tile laying process is done. Okay, the first questions. Can a dispersion slurry sealing be used outside? From the bathrooms, we know that we have different options of using water membranes. Some are based on dispersions. We use them in a thickness of 0.5 millimeters. They are not allowed on balconies. So when you work on balconies, it has to be a cement-based slurry, as you have seen here, like Turbodichtschlemme. In this case, which I would recommend, because outside we have always situations, it's cold, sometimes it's raining, you want to do your job very fast, so it's always better for you, so you won't have to go to the construction site too often, that you use a fast setting product. Even if rain is coming along, the setting time is so fast that the construction or the slurry will not be harmed by a short rain. And you can start after breakfast with the second layer, because these cement-based slurries have to be done in 2 layers. First layer 1 millimeter, second layer 1 millimeter, so you get 2 millimeters incomplete. And after lunch, you can already start with the tile laying process. So that means short waiting times, fast setting times, and that gives you the chance to do a job within 1 day, depending on the size of the construction, of course. And and the next questions, how high should the gradient outside, the slope in this case? Well, I said it already, we want, as you can see here, do we have some water? There's a little bit water, so we can drop it on the tile. A sponge maybe. Yeah, okay, here we have some water. As you can see here, it's always good, like to have 1 or 2%. I hope the camera can get this. The water is just floating. And when the terrace is like connected to earth, then the water will flow into like the grass, which is coming now, the edge of the grass. If it's a balcony, of course, we have like a rin here, which will take the water and put it into the pipe and it goes away. Sarah, this is already the first step. We are pretty fast. Huh? Now we can do balconies in one day.
So
let's go to the next situation, which we always have also. That means we have no concrete outside, but the people, I mean, it starts, I guess, with you in your showroom. The people are coming to you and they say, well, I like this tile. What can we do? And then when you tell them first, I need 20 centimeters of concrete and this, and I need a big machine to take everything out, then they say, oh, goodbye, yes. And you shock them. So we have also an easy way, or more easy way. But we always have to start with some gravel, because in our region, and I mean, today, people watching from all over the world, and we have like areas where it is very hot, of course, all the year long, but even in the desert, we have like cold nights. So that means we have always to look how wide is the temperature spreading from like -degrees all the way up to +degrees. And what we also have to think about, I don't know how you, or what you can recommend on colors for outside. Do you give any recommendations?
Well, the best colors are mid-gray tones or mid-range colors. Yeah. Too dark or is actually the tiles are heating up very fast and very high. So, but these kind of mid-range gray colors that I brought today also, they are very good for outside areas.
So light colors.
Light colors, yeah.
But because we have made some measurements, and when you have like a light color,
yeah, this light gray, for example.
Light gray, for example, and a black blade next to it, and you have like the temperature of the air is like 35 degrees, and we have a difference in the surface of the blade between 25 and 30 degrees. That means the black or dark color will get a lot hotter than a light gray or light sand tone. Okay, then let's start now with our next situation. We just have a gravel situation. That means, coming back to our frost areas, we have like calendars which show us how deep the frost can get into the ground. And that means we have like to dig a hole. So we bring in like a layer of gravel, like 20 or 30 centimeter thickness, and we have to compress it so that there is no movement anymore in the construction itself. And then we go on top with our drainage mortar. What you can see here, the difference is, what we can see here is like very open. Yeah, as you can see here also, when you put it in your hands, you see there's like a lot of rocks in there. That means when the material is hard and we put some water on top, this is what we show here now. And the effect is when there's water going on top, the water is not standing in the drainage mortar itself, it's falling through, and the water is not staying. So when we have like a cold area and ice would start now building up, it has no chance to build up because the water is going out of the construction, and so we have like a safe situation for the tile and the construction itself. Yeah, there's like two different ways of doing the job. We have, of course, tile layers. They like it nicely prepared, like as a screed, so that they have just to put the tile now on top. And we have others, they say, well, I do the job in one working process. And they put in like the drainage mortar, and as we can see here now, we have the tile prepared now on the back side. Let me go here. And why do we do this? We do not smear now the adhesive on top of the drainage mortar. Guido, maybe you can do that. Show Or Andreas, can you give us a little bit of adhesive to show the effect? What happens when we put this directly on the surface? Okay, first do this tiling. Okay, this would be fresh and fresh now, as you can see here. And this is, I would say in Germany it's like 50-50. We have like tile layers who prefer this process, and we have tile layers who prefer this way. Yeah, put it up. And now here you can see in this fresh laying process, we have like a very good connection between the tile backside, the adhesive, and we have like a very breakout of the fresh mortar, and it shows us that we have a very good connection. And now take some of the adhesive and smear it here on this, so we can show the difference. Just on top here. Genau. What I want to show you here, that's why when we have like a drainage system, we only work with the back buttering system, because when you see here now what he is doing, when he puts the adhesive on top of the open system, he's closing all the pores of the system, and now when water is coming because it's raining, the water is not getting into the system itself anymore, and the system cannot work. That's why we just use the back buttering system, so that air stays underneath the tile. So we have like open pores, and when it's raining and water is getting into the grout or underneath the tile, the water is able to suck into the construction and will be free of water, and it's drying itself. In this case, the water would take a long time to get through, and we would have later on a big problem. Okay, I guess we have seen this construction also, and what we have forgotten, you brought some nice things. We should explain some presents, yes. Villeroy Boch has nice presents, and maybe you tell us some words about it, and then I should tell the people what they have to do to get them.
Yes, so today you have the chance to win some nice steak cutlery or a barbecue plate and some steak plates also. For when you have arranged your terrace, when everything is laid with Villeroy Boch tiles, then of course you should enjoy your barbecue, and therefore I brought this nice cutlery and the plates that you can win today.
Well, and I hope you have watched and listened very carefully the last 25 minutes, because now we have the questions, or at least the first question. A balcony area needs to be waterproofed, to be tiled. What waterproof membrane can be used? And when you have watched, then you know it now. And here you can see the internet address. Just go into it, and then you see the questions and the answers. And I will show this again. So, and fill out the questions, the answers, and then then you have the chance to win one of these prizes. Okay? Well, we have seen a lot of different situations now, and one situation I would say especially came up because of the thick tiles, and since these last 5-6 years. And I would say it's a development we have more or less done together. We have the large tiles, and our customers, of course, were also asking, what can we do to do this tiling process easily? And let's go back to your tiles here in your showroom. And what I've seen here, you have also brought some 3-centimeter tiles.
Yes, we also have 3-centimeter tiles in the assortment. 3 centimeters, the difference between 2 and 3 centimeters is actually the breakage strength. So the 3 centimeters are a lot stronger, and you can also lay them in an unbounded layering form. And then you can even go over with vehicles, for example, in commercial or heavy-duty industrial areas.
So that you give those tiles free so that the car can drive on top of it, even so that we have it laid in a gravel situation?
Yes, for the big ones, yes.
Okay, well, this...
Because they are very strong and heavy, so they lay flat in the ground. Okay,
that means the 3 centimeter tiles are the future, more or less?
Maybe, yes, more or less.
Cool, cool.
But also, they are very heavy, so for your private terrace where there's no traffic, where you don't drive with your car, the 2 centimeter is absolutely fine. But in areas where you have, for example, in front of the house where you can drive with your car also, then the thicker the tile, the better. The better.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking about the way to the garage, where you drive into your garage, and then some people would like to have a surface like this. So that could be a choice in the future to use those thick tiles.
Yes.
Cool, cool idea. But then let's show what we have to do also a nice job. As I said, I would say this system which we are presenting now, it's our Solitaire system, which came up over the last 4-5 years now. Since we present this, we have done jobs like this in also in open space. We have like experience in old city areas where we have loose laid rocks and stones, where we have already experience with like a different kind of grout material. It's not anymore cement based. It's now a grout material which is like a reaction epoxy polyurethane material. And the positive side of these materials, they are easy to handle. That we will see that right now. And they stay more or less flexible, and they are very elastic, and they are very sticky, and they are staying very good to the side of the tile. So since the tile is now thicker, the connection is even better. And well, let's go to the situation, and then we look what's the difference between the 2 situations we have seen before and to this one. Well, you have already prepared everything very nicely, and well, what is the secret about this tiling process? I mean, you see this tile here in the middle. Try to move it. Yeah, you can see. What would you say? This is, I guess, not what you would like to expect.
No.
Yeah. Well, when we start just working with gravel and do a tiling with stones or rocks on gravel, then we have, of course, always a movement. You walk on it, and it's like an elastic situation. It's like a feather which goes up and down. And this movement we have to compensate, and the magic thing is actually the grout and the preparation of the tile themselves. And the gravel itself has also a special gravel. Now you have to step into this box, and then you will see the difference.
This is quite hard.
Yeah, this is quite hard. Yeah, that means we have like here, we have like a very sharp gravel. That means these sharp pieces are connecting together, so they are not moving anymore. Yeah, and here, what would you say here?
This is quite fluffy and unstable.
Unstable, yeah, that's the right word. Unstable. Here we have like a round corn. That means like balls which are hanging together. And when you put pressure into it, then the balls are moving to the side. So this is, of course, not the right gravel we can use for this construction. So it's very important that we have like a very sharp gravel, which we, of course, we put also pressure on top and connect the sharp pieces together. And then we have like the right base for this situation. Actually, we start also with like a rough gravel. We put a lot of pressure on it so that we have like a good compact situation. And then we put this layer on top, and then we can start now with the laying process. The laying process, guys start, and then we'll see what's the magic situation about it. We also put adhesive on the backside. I guess now you would say, I've never seen something like this. And this is very important because what you have tested yourself, when the tile has no connection to the gravel, then we have like an easy movement. And this easy movement is of course not good for the construction. Yeah. So we need like a connection to the gravel itself, and we get this connection with the adhesive we put on the backside. Yeah, as you see here. The next question. Question for you. Can you explain the difference between the 20 and the 30 millimeter thickness blades? Can they be used in different ways? I mean, you have already said it, but maybe you repeat it again, please.
Yes, as I said before, the 3 centimeters have 2.5 times higher breakage strength, so they are much stronger than the 2 centimeter tiles, and therefore you can also lay it in high-duty industrial areas. You can drive over with a forklift, for example, and with vehicles also. And as you explained before, it's also very good to have the 3 centimeter tiles in front of your house, for example, for the entrance in the garage. Therefore, the 3 centimeter is perfect.
Okay. And the biggest size is 80 times 80, or?
80 by 80 is 80. At the moment the biggest that we offer. Yeah.
And
and they are also rectified, which means they have sharp edges. Yeah. So that for the join and for the layering, it has got a nice design with the sharp edges.
Okay, cool. Okay, now our guys have prepared everything, and maybe you have already wondered why we have this tile here. The magic solution why we do this is now you can see here. We have like a very sharp backside now because the tile and the adhesive and the sharp rocks are now connected together. Guido is now putting some pressure on the tile, and we see now that the tile with the adhesive is also nicely laid in this bed, and also the adhesive on the backside, because you are never able to do everything very smooth when it comes with these small rocks. And then also the adhesive gives the tile layer a little bit of some millimeters, so he can move the tolerance of the surface, and you get, of course, then no edges from one tile to the next. Yeah. And this helps the tile, helps the tile layer to do a nice job. Okay, now what you can see here, also a nice tool, also magic. The tile stays on the tool. It's also very interesting because here we have like a rough surface, and the normal ones sometimes they fall off. They fall off, yeah. So here this vacuum pump is a very good tool in this case for tiling, when you have like, I think this one is also, this tile is also very rough. I mean, this actually looks like natural stone. Yes. You cannot see a difference anymore. This one also. Yeah. Okay, he just told us that you can lift up tiles with a weight of 120 kilos? 170 kilos, that means. So you have a lot of pressure in the construction. And we have like, it's an easy way of doing tiling. Another question which came in, I forgot. Do we require expansion joints in these large tiles? What would you say?
Yes. we should, of course, always.
Okay, good.
At least, well, we recommend 4 to 5 millimeters.
Of width? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and the distance from one to the next, the expansion joint?
5
meters?
millimeters, yeah.
Yeah, 5 millimeters, but then in Germany, you know, everything is regulated. We live in a DIN norm country, and since when you get the idea to build like a very big terrace, then every 2.5 to 5 meters, there should be an expansion joint, and you fill this expansion joint up maybe with a silicone, or you also can use like a PU material, which also stays flexible. We have like different options to do this job or this kind of job. Well, we have just done laying processes. Now we want to do the crowd processing, which is in this case very interesting, and I guess this is the revolution when it comes to terraces built up in this combination, and this is our Solitaire crowd, F20. Guido, just wait a second, another question is coming in. The Solitaire system, I mean, what we have seen here right now was that we have like put adhesive on the backside. Does the adhesive have to be an S1 or an S2 adhesive? As you know, we have like different kinds of cement-based tile adhesives in different qualities. Usually inside we use like S1 adhesives. S1 means like the adhesive has like a special flexibility. But when we go to outside, we have like a lot of more pressure which comes into the tile and the construction itself because of the big temperature distances we have from minus to very high plus. And that means for outside, we always recommend a very flexible adhesive. So that means here you have to use an S2 adhesive, especially when you have like the first construction we have had here in the beginning, where you connect like the mortar membrane with the tile in a one system together. Here you have, on the tile especially, even bigger and bigger, then here you have to use an S2 adhesive for the connection between the tile and the waterproofing membrane. In this case, when we go back to our Solitaire system, you can also use an S1 adhesive on the backside because the gravel itself is always in a movement situation. But what we want with the S1 adhesive or with the tile adhesive, that we get a good connection into the gravel. And then the tile will stay and we cannot move it anymore. Yeah? What we need, of course, is like a frame around the terrace so that the tiles and the gravel itself will not start moving apart. Yeah? This is always necessary, like we have seen here, like a frame around the gravel. Okay, I guess before we start now with our last process, I have to read the next question for our prices. The covering with 80 times 80 tiles has to be reliably laid on a balcony. What products should we use? So when you have watched nicely, then you should know now. You see the question, the answers. You should be able to answer this question also. So, Guido, show us now what the matching is of this special product. As you can see here, it's already ready to use. That's also a nice effect of this product because we know that some people do not like to mix products, and here everything is already prepared in this bag, and you just bring it out, and then we'll see what's happening now. Of course, please wear hand gloves. Because this is now a material where we have like sand mixed together with like a epoxy polyurethane mixture, and the contact to skin is not so good. Yeah, but actually no problem then. So we just bring it in, and as you can see, it's like sand, but when you would touch it, it's like sticky a little bit. Okay. Yeah? And now, since it is so dry, the nice effect now is we need, of course, water, a water hose. And what we can see now the material starts getting very liquidly. And we bring in even the smallest slopes, like we start with 3 millimeters, but sometimes we also know it's a little bit more narrow. And now you can see here that it's falling into it like very easily, and we fill up the slopes and the joints very nicely. And we get like a very good connection between the tile and the grout itself. And also what's interesting, if you could look or watch underneath the tile now, we have like the material itself moves underneath the tile. And we also get like a, how can I say, like a layer of grout material underneath, which connects the tiles from one tile to the next tile together. And this is also like a little bit the secret of the system. So what we can see, water is important, so that the tile material, the grout material moves easily into the narrow grout, into the narrow joints. And now, of course, we would have some time to wait. We wait until the water is like flooding away. What's left over is, of course, the grout material itself again. And then we take like a broom and just take the rest of the material away. And then, actually, we are already done. Yeah? We do not walk on the scenery for like a couple of hours. So that we give the material a drying process of 12 to 24 hours, and then everything is done.
But then do I have to repeat it, or is it finished? No.
I mean, if you see a hole or whatever, that there's a little spot which is not filled up rightly, then of course you can use the material again on next day. This is also like the positive effect of this bag. Now, when you still have some left over, you can close the bag again and can use it for the next construction site. So Guido, then start. Yeah. So what we see here now, this is actually the process of the. It's a little bit too early. Usually, of course, we have like a bigger site where we do the job, like 10, 20, 30 square meters. And when we are done with the last square meter, then I would say like 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes are done. And this is the right time then to start with the cleaning process with a broom to take off all the leftovers, like the little stand which is still standing on the surface. Yeah, and you can do this a couple of times until all the sand is gone.
It's gone.
Yeah? The interesting thing is, of course, here I would say, what would you say about the color? Do you like it?
It might be a little bit too dark. That's what I was going to ask. Do we have different colors?
Yes, of course. I mean, we can fulfill every wish. And we have like a whole range of different colors. Sand, we have anthracite, and so we have like a gray color. So we have different colors which can be chosen to connect it together with the optic of the tile itself. Yeah. So, but this is like I would say, yeah, I like it or I don't like it. Yeah. And so I guess that would be your job to figure out what goes nicely together and what the owner likes. I mean, it's always the question what the owner likes. And then we can choose the color also. Yeah. And as you can see now here, the joint itself looks a little bit rough compared to a cement-based grout. And if it's raining now on this terrace, the water will go through the grout also. Yeah? That means we have like a drainage effect, which is always very important for private owners, especially when they have a terrace in Germany. We want that the rainwater is staying on the ground, penetrating in this area and is not going into the open system, so that the water is going away from the country. And but people have to pay for that when the water is put into the drainage system. And that's a good thing, that the water here is now staying on the ground. So we have another question. Do you require more expansion? No, we have already done this question. But the last question of our game. The joints between 2 centimeter thick ceramic tiles laid loosely in a gravel bed on a patio are to be finished with a bound grounding material. What procedure should be adapted? So if you have seen everything here, then you should know what the answer is now. Well, Sarah, we have like 3 nice prizes. We have seen a lot of interesting tiles. For me, I would say this is more or less the future. What I've seen over the last couple of years now, what we have done outside, I see a lot of potential in these nice ceramic materials. Yesterday we spoke that there might be some thicker ceramic
might come,
maybe in your ideas. And I think that could also be very interesting for some new ways of creating and making outside situations very nicely.
Yeah.
Thomas, you have another question? Oh, 2 questions. Let's see, maybe there's one question for you. This is the first question is for me. What is the minimum thickness of a drainage mortar? We go back to this situation here. As you can see here, we have like, I would say 5-6 centimeters of the thickness. It starts with 5 centimeters. Usually when we go to terraces, we have like 6 to 7 centimeters as a thickness which is recommended. If we would go to the front side and you tell us we want to drive with the car on top of it, then we are between 10 and 15 centimeters. That means we are variable in the thickness of the drainage mortgage, and so you just have to start in the beginning, make your plans. You have to figure out what kind of pressure would be on the tile or on the construction, and then we have like the option to use the different thicknesses. But we start around 5-6 centimeters with the construction. Another question, up to what size can you lay 20 millimeter plates alone without assistance or help? What would you say?
With up to?
The question is, you have a big tile, and is it possible to lay these tiles alone, so that just one guy is on the construction site?
Well, we have seen 60 by 60 is quite easy, but 80 by 80 is more difficult because it's...
I would say it's depending on the guy who's doing the job. Is he...
On the length of the arms.
On that too. But I also would say, I mean, I have done a job with 60 times 60 tiles also by myself alone. This is, I guess, still a size you can handle alone. But as soon as we get to a situation like this, 80 times 80 and the thickness of 20 millimeters, then there should be a second guy. And when we go to tiles like this, then you should have a second guy on the side to help. Or you need a machine latestly then. What you can also use to lift up the tile, especially this one, because this one is quite heavy.
Also quite heavy,
and then it would be good to work with a machine or also to work with a second or third guy. That would be good. Well, I guess we have all the questions done. And I guess now we can just go over all of it again. We have like the situation, we have a concrete floor, situation number 1, which you have seen with some waterproofing membranes. Usually in Germany, I would say, and the countries I have been so far, we have like always very good experience with the cement-based membranes. The cement-based membranes, their positive side is that they can handle like cold situation, they can handle sometimes a little bit rain, so they are very easy-going products for the construction site. So I always would recommend, and especially a fast-setting material, in this case, Sopro Turbodichtschlemmer, which you can use, and you will be very happy as a worker on the construction site with this product. And even so, we have not nice weather conditions, which we have, especially now. We are getting into the colder situation now, colder weather conditions, and we still know construction sites are still done outside, sometimes until Christmas, more or less. Even snow is already around, and we are already in this process. And this product or this cement-based slurry gives you a lot of security in your working process, even the weather conditions are not so good. And second, then our construction with gravel prepared, and then we have the drainage mortar on top. We can do it fresh and fresh, or we can do it as a screed construction, where we just put the tile in the buttering situation on top. And then, of course, last, our Solitaire system, which is, I would say, more or less also the future, because it makes work a lot easier, especially in the combination with these large tiles. Mm-hmm. And when you are coming now with the 3 centimeters, even better. Yeah. And I see a lot of potential, because it makes the construction even cheaper. Yeah? Mm-hmm. So it's not too complicated, and we can have some nice terraces and so on, walkways and so on. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thomas, a last question. Very interesting question. Does the waterproof membrane work as an uncoupling system? I think in the beginning I said this already. We have like a lot of pressure in these constructions when we have like a tight connection to each other. And that means there's like, because of the temperature, the tile wants to get bigger and smaller, and it's moving. And these waterproofing membranes, yeah, I don't know if you can see that, but it's like rubber. And that means this waterproofing membrane is uncoupling also the construction itself. That means when I move with my finger, I can really feel that that's like on a tire from a car. When I brush against it, that the tire is also a little bit elastic, and the waterproofing membrane is doing the same job. Okay, so we have like an uncoupling effect, and especially with the large tiles, that's very important. Okay, we are coming to an end, and I hope we have the chance to see you in person one of these days, so we can have a beer together and stay together on the next construction site. Stay well. And like I said, if you have any questions to us, then feel free to get in contact with us, and all the best for you. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you. Bye-bye.